And we're live.
Boom.
Oops. Let me let me know when you want me to roll the intro. When you're done sharing,
Right on.
we will do it. We'll make it happen. The this background thing's making my beard look like it's like cut in half or something. It's weird. Good times. I think it's almost time to shave it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's starting to become more of a pain in the butt. That's how I usually gauge it when I'm like, all right, it's starting to get annoying. What we shall see, said the blind man to the deaf.
Did he really say that?
I don't know. That's what the cliche says, so I'm going with it. Actually, isn't it like the blind man said to the deaf dog? I think.
Something like that.
I think something like that. I don't know. I didn't make it up, so.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up and sit down.
Boom. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Or should I say, how you doing? I don't know. What's up? I'm the Street Certified Dope Doctor here with you here on Dope and Dharma. It's a We the Middle edition of Dope and Dharma. That's right, Trinity. My co-host, Trinity Phillips, the Dharma guy. That means it's time for us to take off our counseling hats and spiritual hats and talk politico.
Sure.
Talk politics a little bit. Since everybody loves talking about politics, Trinity.
Do they, though? I think people end up talking about it. I don't know how many people actually enjoy it, though.
I call BS. I think we all used to hate talking politics, and now we enjoy it because we like fighting. That's what it
definitely
feels
a possibility.
Like. That's what it feels like.
Definitely a possibility. It usually ends up in fights. I know that.
Right. Well, just so you all don't know, if you don't know, the reason we call the show We the Middle is because neither Trinity nor I are registered Republican or Democrat. That means we don't belong. We're not gang affiliated. We're not Crips. We're not Bloods. We don't think mommy's right. We don't think daddy's right. We think when parents are fighting, the kids suffer. When there's a gang war, everybody suffers. And a lot of innocent people get shot. And that's kind of what's happening. In our opinion, we think most people are actually closer aligned with us in the middle. Only, a lot of people are just afraid to speak outside of whatever flag they're wearing. And so, unfortunately, we feel that it's important to just share opinions and thoughts on things. And sometimes Crips are right, sometimes Bloods are right, and we need to be honest about it. And we want to be able to talk about these things respectfully and not just be real ridiculous about it. I think that some people are just real ridiculously heated at each other for no reason. We should be able to care for each other and allow each other to speak and hear different opinions. It's the American way. Sometimes your guy's in, sometimes your guy's not in. That's the way it is, right, Trinity? I mean, that's
every 4 years, half the country's
something
pissed
like
off.
That. Yeah. It's been like that all our life.
Yeah,
all our life. But for some reason, some people want us to believe that all of a sudden, after all these years of thinking politicians are a bunch of crooks, criminals, and liars, all of a sudden, they got us trying to believe, like, no, they've been innocent up until one. Up until now, they were all these great human beings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And why did it take so long to correct some of these wrongs? Why are we still talking about issues that have always been out there? Why? You know what I mean?
Because we never solved any of them.
Yeah. It's like, the big issues of the day that we all get heated about. I mean, they're still there.
Yeah.
Like we still argue Medicaid. We still argue retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We still argue abortion and religion.
We still argue abortion.
Come on.
Still.
Yeah. We were arguing abortion when I was a child.
So clearly we're a house divided. And there's a lot of houses divided. You're allowed to be divided.
Sure.
But you gotta be, if you work together and compromise. The word compromise and they're both sides are rich. I love how one side can somehow get everybody to believe that only one side is rich. They're both rich.
Yeah.
They're both rich. We literally have a president in office right now that went in there not rich. He went into government not rich. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even rich until he became vice president.
Yeah.
Then now he's rich. It's not his fault.
Well,
I don't blame him. Hell,
He
if
wasn't
could get
exactly
100
homeless though either. Like
Yeah, but he wasn't. But he didn't have money. He wasn't making a lot of money.
no,
wasn't
he
making a lot
wasn't
of
in the
money.
millions that he is now.
No, it wasn't even close. I think he was worth like $2 million, if that. If that.
I would still call that rich personally, but
Okay, but
maybe your definition.
I knew you were going to say something. So
say.
and then after all those years of government, I mean that's all he had. After all those years of a good job, great paying job,
Sure,
that's normal. But then all of a sudden you become vice, and I get it. You become vice president. Now now people care about you speaking. So he goes out there and gets $100,000 to speak at a university or at a company. I don't blame him for that. Of course, I would do the same thing.
is that what we're calling it now though?
What?
The last few times I saw him speak, it looked more like mumbling. Like,
Well, I'm talking
it looked
before
like an incoherent mess.
I'm talking about when he was still talking normal as vice president when he left.
Yeah, vice
He wasn't
president.
mumbling then.
No, not as vice president. No.
Yeah, he still looked cool in his shades back then. Now it's like it's this fight. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a fight then. It was,
Have you seen that conspiracy thing going around about him? Actually,
what?
about how it's like a fake him because I think he's had really bad plastic surgery.
No,
and they keep showing like the earlobe differences or like the wrinkles, like it looks like a mask or whatever. You haven't seen that big conspiracy theory going around?
No,
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, tell me you believe it or you don't believe it. What are you telling me? Because I haven't seen it.
Do I believe that it's like a body double? No, I don't believe that. Do I? But it's obvious he had some pretty bad.
Really? So you believe he's had surgery? He's had work,
dude. Yeah,
really?
It's pretty obvious if you look at a picture. If you look at a picture of him back when he was like vice president, even before then, compared to like just now, it's all like, you know what I mean? Really? Yeah, he's had a facelift for sure. Absolutely. Come on, man. And then the earlobe.
What if it's just Botox?
Different.
Could it be just a bunch of Botox? Maybe.
Did he take all of them? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's ones with his earlobes are completely different. Yeah, the one like there's two different earlobes, one that's like stuck and one that's loose. Like he's got both of them apparently at different times.
Look, yeah, Marissa Molesky from Facebook Live says that she saw it. And none of them look the same.
Yeah,
interesting.
Like I said, do I believe it's like a body double or a mask or something? No, I don't believe that at all. But but yeah, he's had obvious work done. I mean, look at his face; it looks horrible.
Man, Joe, I don't blame you if you got plastic surgery. Do whatever you got to do, man. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like a cat though.
A cat?
Yeah, like Catwoman. Remember the Catwoman?
Oh. Yeah. You're talking about okay, yeah. No,
it's not like surgery gone wrong. I mean, you know what I mean? He looks good. He's a good looking dude.
If I was him, I'd want my money back.
He's a good looking dude. He's a good looking old man, dude. I wish I'd looked that old, like that good at that age. Look, I hope I can walk as slow and goofy as he does now when I'm that age.
Yeah,
because I'm like almost there, and I'm like he's a lot older than me. You know what I mean? I may joke about the dude, but I don't think I'm gonna be as mobile as he is at his age, to be honest.
Sure.
But that being said, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, the lizard people can have masks on. I mean, maybe they put different uniforms.
That's my wife. She's the lizard people.
So I don't know.
For real, my wife is the RH negative, I think it is.
Yeah, where'd that even come from? Where'd this RH come from? I never even heard of that blood type.
I didn't hear about it either until my wife. Like she's RH negative, whatever. And
but that didn't exist before. I mean, that's not even one of the options.
Well, it existed for at least 40 some years now.
No, it wasn't out there. It was just AB positive, O positive, O negative. It was the same old little group.
No, RH negative's out there. It's just really rare, like really rare.
But I don't remember anyone ever talking about it at all, like growing up.
It's because it was rare.
Well, there's a lot of things that are rare.
Well, we have the internet now, so rare things are popular because it's the internet.
Okay. Right.
Like, she's the only person I've ever met in my life other than her son that has it. And obviously he has it because it's hereditary.
Freaking lizards.
Yeah, whatever.
They're coming out. Lizards are coming out.
Yeah,
anyway, let's get started. Like again, let's talk about some things from middle perspective.
Sure.
Yeah. See, Marissa's O negative. There you go. And Nancy Bridger, she's B positive. There you go. So these are normal things. Nancy's on Facebook Live says she's B positive. Marissa's O negative. These are normal things. Sure. I'm O positive. These are normal.
I don't even know what I'd have to look it up.
Your wife is a lizard.
Yeah. Well, that's what she always jokes about.
All right, so let's talk about the first thing. In Trent, I'm a little frustrated with you on this one because we should have been talking about this like weeks ago, but no.
Frustrated with me?
Yeah,
I saw it like when it came out.
No. But you didn't see it soon enough.
You can get happy in the same pants you got upset in, so
You
we'll
didn't
be all
see
right.
it soon enough, and we're talking about the Barbie movie.
I didn't want to go see it at all, but my daughter wanted to go, and we all had to wear pink and everything.
Wow.
So
Whoa! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! You did the whole thing. You did the whole you.
I put a pink shirt on. Yeah.
You really did?
Yeah, it's my daughter, man. Of course, she went. Her and two of her little friends wanted to go, and then they wanted to get all pink and stuff. So I went.
What does that have to do with you? Get pink.
Because we were all together. Like they wanted the whole group.
I'm together with my kids and my family all the time. It doesn't mean I wear the same clothes. Dude, my wife will be like, let's all put Bucky's gear on. I'm like,
because I'm a better father.
Bucky's gear. Like, yeah, maybe.
I'm just a better father. That's all.
Maybe that's
well, when you don't have money to buy things, dude, you have to find other ways of pleasing your kids.
Oh, there you go. You got Nancy on your side. Stay good for you, Trinity.
Yes. But yes, myself, my son, my mom, and all the kids, we all wore like pink stuff.
Oh, well, I didn't wear pink.
Yeah, the girls took it a little bit further, obviously, than I did, but whatever. I participated,
right.
But I wasn't like some of the people I saw there. Like when I got there, there's like people dressed in like drag and everything else. Like no, I didn't do all that.
Over $1 billion worldwide. It's made over $1 billion.
Like, I do want to say that I wear pink like all the time. By the way, like I have pink shirts. Like I don't think that's a big deal, but just want to put that out there.
Look over there. I don't know if I can see everything from here, but I don't know if I.
Yeah, I have.
I'm not against it.
Matter of fact, I just wore a pink shirt on our last show.
I'm not opposed to pink.
Our last show, I had a pink shirt on.
I don't think it's the pink, Trinity. What I think it is that you wore it to a movie, like you dressed for a movie. That's what makes me laugh.
I dressed for my daughter.
Dressed for a movie.
I dressed for my daughter. Had my daughter not been going and didn't request that, I would not have done that.
All right. Good you. Good you.
That's right. She also did my nails when she was younger too. So
I remember that.
Yeah, a couple times.
That. Yeah, I remember that.
And makeup.
But one of my boys, look, if my friend Ramey ever watches this, I caught him in my daughter's room doing the dance, the Angelina ballerina. My daughter had him doing this Angelina ballerina pose.
I don't even know what that is.
And I walked in and saw it, and he was bro. Dahlia made me do it, bro. Dahlia made me do it. I'm like, dude, I can't unsee that. It's awesome.
That's funny.
So yeah, the little girls can get you to do things.
Yeah, I've done stupid stuff for my daughter. I've done it quite a bit.
So what'd you think
of the Barbie movie?
Yeah.
What an open question that one was.
Well, I mean, what did you go into it with? Like, what did you hear about it before you went? Like, did you go into it with
I heard
already chirping your ear a little bit?
Not really. I knew that there was a supposed controversy. Yeah. What that was exactly, I wasn't quite sure. The vibe that I got from everything that I heard, if I had to guess on what I thought it was basically one of those like I'm Woman Hear Me Roar, Bash Men kind of movies, I guess.
Okay.
That's what, like, going into it, I had assumptions that that's what it might be, but I didn't dive deep enough into it to have any real opinions about it. I kind of just,
so you were more in the camp like you were not going to like it, right?
I didn't know if I was going to like it or not.
You really didn't go into it thinking not even closer to the left or right whether you were going to like it or not.
No.
Oh, I did. I really thought I wasn't gonna like it. Oh yeah, yeah. Because someone had told me, I was being told different things about what, and I expected complete.
Oh, so you went in with like the political, like you heard.
I didn't mean to. I didn't want to. But right before seeing the movie, I got told all these things that were frustrating, and I'm like, what? And I got told, oh yeah, it does this, it bashes guys like this, it makes me.
Oh yeah, so I didn't really hear any of that.
I said, oh man, do we really have to go see this movie? I'm trying to talk him out of it at that point. I'm like, really? Like, there's, I'd rather go see Sounds of Freedom or something like that. Let's go watch a different movie, right? No, let's just go see it. So I went because I'm a girl dad too, and that's what you do. You go watch a movie that you don't normally go watch.
Yeah. And some of us love our kids more. And we dress up in pink.
You're right. I think that's what helped me, though. I think what helped is that I went to it expecting such bashing, and that's not what I got at all. I actually enjoyed the movie. I actually liked it.
I think with anything, if you're looking to be angry at something on either side of the aisle,
Right.
I think you'll find it.
Yeah.
But I also think it was an amazing marketing job to create this
course.
controversy to make everybody go watch your movie. Because I didn't walk away from that movie thinking anything major political just happened. Could I see, once again, if you're gonna try to tell me it was male bashing, or if you're gonna try to tell me it was anti-women, I could see, I could see justifications for both.
Right.
But do I think that that's what they had in mind when they made the movie? No, not really. Like, I didn't walk away with that. I didn't walk away like I just watched some crazy woke film that was intended to piss me off.
No,
that's not what I walked away with.
I thought it made fun of everybody. I thought it made fun of guys. It made fun of women. It made fun of the way women look at women and other women. Women of different types. I think it made fun of the way guys portray themselves. Look, we know guys act like that. That portrayed us all pretty dead on.
Well, the funny part though is, like, if we're really going to get into the woods on this one,
right?
I did take away something. Well, I thought I got a chuckle out of an interpretation, right? Okay. This wasn't one that I heard elsewhere. Like, I honestly haven't really seen, even to this day, a ton of the controversy. Like, I know people are upset about it, but I've only seen like one or two things that didn't make any sense to me.
Right.
But when I was talking to my wife about it, because she asked me as well, because she did hear, by the way, she heard from a lot of people that it was this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But so one of the takeaways that I had that I thought was funny, like I said, I don't think it was the intended whatever, but just I have an interesting perspective at times, as we all might know. And I thought it was, and if spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to click away for a minute. Right. I do think it's interesting that out of the entire movie, what group was just always happy? What group was just always just cool? It was the dudes. When it was just when it was the Barbie's world, the guys were cool. They were happy. They were content. When it switched over to the man's world, the guys were happy. Obviously,
still happy.
Yeah, the dudes were just happy. Who was upset the entire time? Like, who had a problem the whole time? It was the women. So I think that's funny to me. I think it's apropos, basically, that they just weren't happy the whole movie, and yet these guys were just happy.
Well,
either way, I thought that was funny to me.
I think you're hitting on one of the things that I'm kind of like saying is like you could see, like, when she went to the real world, you see the woman bashing women kind of thing, the way they treated her, like in the real world, like, because that is the way some people look at a blonde, blue-eyed, pretty woman right now.
Yeah, when they went to the real world was the only time that I was just like,
oh, you're objectifying women by looking like that and acting like that.
But at the same token, the dude was like, hey,
women like that.
But that's the perspective, right? Like, the girl immediately thought aggression and all this other BS. And the dude was like, hey, that must be cool. They're looking at me. So, it's all about perspective, right? Like, once again, the guy was happy, but the woman found a way to be angry. You know what I mean? That was one of the only times that I felt that I could see the direction that they put that in there as a wokeism type thing. Of, like,
I think they made fun of wokeism a lot in that movie.
That's the thing, right? Is I think that they might have tried to make fun of wokeism, but then the wokeism people took that as like, yeah, see, like, I don't think they realized we're laughing at you, not with you.
And here's why I think it was kind of brilliant, because I think what it did in reality is it took the good parts of what wokeism should be. Because we should be awake on a lot of items. Sure. Let's be honest here. I think we did need to wake up about certain things, about how we are, how we treat people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it took the basics of what it should be and did really well. And then anybody that's too this way or that way, it made fun of. And I think they did a good job at that,
and
to be honest.
Dude, Ryan Gosling was freaking ripped, man. Like,
dude,
God.
Who knew? Who knew Ryan was such
ripped?
Look, I knew he was a good actor.
Yeah,
but I didn't think he could play that. Dude, I got a whole new respect for that.
Yeah, man, I thought it was funny. I liked him in that movie. I'm not like a huge Ryan Gosling fan or anything. I'm not pro or anti him.
Right.
I was impressed. I mean, as a master trainer, I was incredibly impressed with his physique. Like, I could tell he worked his ass off for that body, and good for you, bro.
I didn't know he was a Disney dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Even
know.
the girl, what was her name? Robbie gosh, what is her name? Margot Robbie or something like that. I can't remember her name at the moment. The actress to play Barbie, the main Barbie, I should say.
I don't know her name either, but I think she did phenomenal.
She did a great job too, actually.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think, like I said, I think that the takeaway is what you wanted it to be. Like if you wanted to walk away thinking that it's bashing men or bashing women, you could find examples to suit your needs. But I feel like it was blown out of proportion. I feel like had it not been for the talking heads, most people would watch it and be like, "Oh, it's a cool movie."
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think for those of you out there that think that it's a horrible movie based on one of those left or right kind of belief systems, I think you missed the humor.
Yeah,
I think you missed it. I think that's what made it funny to me. I like the historical context. I like the fact that it was based a lot in historical reality, not only about how we are as people, but the reality of the toy making business, the reality of the people that actually made the toys and why they did them the way they did them. And I mean, those things, that's truth, man. You know what I mean? That was a rough competitive world. And I don't know, man. I wish G.I. Joe would have made his an appearance, but you know what? That's, I guess, a whole different,
Well, they're going to make a movie with Transformers. So.
Are they really?
Yeah. There's a new Transformer G.I. Joe, collab coming up, I think.
I'm a lot more interested in Barbie, to be honest with you, even though I had G.I. Joe's. Barbie's a lot prettier, man. She's more interesting. I just thought it was done really well, and I got to applaud them, man. It was just done really well.
Yeah,
I expected not to like it.
I
did. I was expected to be annoyed and angry. I wasn't. And maybe for those reasons is why I'm saying, you know what? Good job. Yeah, enjoy your billion. And the actors, I think all the actors in the movie did a phenomenal. Every single one of them. Yeah, every single actor in that movie did a wonderful job.
Yeah, I think there was a good story. Like movies are my thing. You know that I've said it here many times.
Right.
And so I can appreciate a well shot movie, and even if I don't necessarily agree with the subject matter, if it's done well, I can appreciate it. And my wokeism radar is second to none. So when I'm watching some shows, I get turned off immediately when I can tell the box checker shows up. You know what I mean? When they introduce the check box, I'm like, I immediately get irritated. And I didn't feel that with this one. Like, I can see, like I said, where they were going in some things, but I don't know. I thought it was a good show. Like, would I recommend it? No more than is it like epic where it's like a must-see movie? Is it like The Dark Knight?
It's a one and done. It's a one and done. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm going to watch every Christmas.
No.
It's not like Elf where I want to see. I want to see him. Oh, isn't he a cute little fella again?
Yeah. Is it going to be like a classic or an epic movie? No, I don't think so. I don't even know if it was intended to be that. To be honest with you, so
I don't know. It was just, look, it made its billion. Yeah. If it makes if it does nothing else anymore, it already.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it was a movie.
Look, the biggest thing is it already had the toys out there. Like usually they have to make a movie and then they make the toys. Right. This already had them out there. So by the way,
still Barbies out there right now?
Dude, look, I want to go to my shed. Not my shed, my storage unit, and I want to pull out my wife's Barbies and I want to sell them. You know what I mean? I'm telling Dana, sell them now. They're never
are there
more
Barbies?
expensive.
Like, are they selling Barbies right now in the store? Like, are they still like a thing?
I think so.
Have they? Is the woke side not gotten rid of them?
No, I think I saw that. Remember that Barbie that had like the crazy makeup, the one that was like weird Barbie or whatever, like the one that you cut the hair and all that. I think they just put that out. I think they said they were putting that out.
My daughter was never like into Barbies. Yeah. Like she was never, I don't know how, but we skipped right over that with her.
They should have. Yeah. No, I love it. I love the beginning, how everybody was like into babies and then they went into Barbie. That's so true. Because prior to Barbies, everybody just had like they were playing mommy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Barbie had Barbie World.
So I love that.
I love that. I love that historical reference. I just love it.
Well, the other thing that I did like about it too, actually, as a parent myself, like my kids, my youngest are now, well, my son not so much because he's still only 13 now. My daughter, she's getting ready to turn 14. Like she's wearing her headsets now and doesn't want to be bothered. And so I think they captured that relationship very well between the mom and the daughter. When they had that little montage where they showed them playing dollies together, and then it ended with her in a car and like not wanting anything to do with her, and like this little kind of an attitude. I think they captured that really, really well. Like as a father who's kind of I'm in the beginning stages of that with my youngest daughter at the moment. Like I felt that one. Like that one was like, dude, that sucks, dude. That's not a good feeling. I think they nailed that one pretty
100%
well.
Nailed it. And the other part was when she went on that little rant about how women have to perform in this world compared to men. Dude, that was dead on. I'm sorry, but that was she was 100%.
I have to push back
she
on that
was
one a little
dead.
bit, but
push back all you want. She was dead on. When a woman
but everybody
shows
has that.
Brother,
it's not a woman only
not
thing.
everybody. No, it is.
I call bullshit.
I don't, because when you're in board meetings and when you're in business meetings, when a woman has the same attributes as a strong leader, as a guys tend to use different words for what they see and visualize, and the pushback is different compared to if it's a guy showing those exact same attributes. He's a great businessman, he's this, he's that, but a woman does it, she's the bitch, she's this. No, man, it's very different. That was dead on. It's a whole different ball game of how we view a strong or I don't know, a forceful, intelligent woman than how we deal with a forceful, headstrong guy. It's just different. I'm sorry. That's just my perspective on it, and it's my viewpoint on it. And I thought that whole little rant right there, that whole little clip when she said that, I was like, that was the best written little monologue of how women must feel and what they have to and what their challenges over us, and we are just lucky enough to just, dude, our life is so easy compared. Dude, I will never not be a guy. I will never not want to be a dude. I will never, dude. Even getting older is better, dude. I'm getting older, and like my temperature has changed to the fact where the sun doesn't burn me as much. And then on the other hand, women get older and they get hot, like they're burning up from the inside. They're like on fire. It's like, oh man, I feel sorry for them. So we all moved to Florida, but that has to be women's hell moving to Florida because they're hot now. So I mean, it's. I would hate periods. I would hate pregnancy. I would hate. There's nothing about what a woman has to endure that I would want. Nothing.
Two things that I would say, just so we don't go too far into the weeds on this one, the two things I would say would be, number one, half the stuff that she was complaining about in that monologue, women were doing to each other. Like that has nothing to do with us. Like
but they were part of it.
Themselves. And then the second one I would say is that I think women have it hard and women struggle, and they have disadvantages and advantages to being women.
Right.
And I think men have it hard and men have struggles, and we have advantages and disadvantages. Do I think one is worse than the other were? I'm not going to get into that one. So I think that this idea or this notion that one is just I call bullshit. Like I think both sexes have difficulties. It is, dude, but it is. Bullshit. Like I'm not. I'll push back all day on that one. Man.
It's not. I think what if you would just stick to the part that says a lot of it is self-inflicted, yes, but I don't know the historical context of how it became self-inflicted. Look, not only do men bash on women, women bash on women. That's why they have it harder.
But everybody bashes on men too.
But
everybody bashes on men. Like,
but we don't care.
Toxic masculinity.
Bro, we don't care. Really? Are we crying about
the problem? No. See, that's the problem.
No,
that's the problem.
Some of that. No, but you're thinking that is a gift we have when probably it's some chemistry that we have that allows us not to give a shit. No,
we do give a shit. That's the problem. But we do. We kill ourselves at higher rates than anybody else. You might not, but like men as a whole kill themselves more than any other population.
Cry about it and stuff. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They care more. They do care more.
The difference is when we both deal with it, it's more socially acceptable, and there's more social programs to help out the women than there are the men. We're supposed to just suck it up and get over it. And then we wonder why we go out and shoot schools and beat people up and are violent. Well, because nobody fucking taught us how to deal with our emotions. Like we are hurt. We feel the same thing, but we're not allowed to pontificate that. Like we're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to discuss it. Okay, well, the next time they shoot up your school, maybe that's why. Next time the dude is violent and hits somebody, maybe because nobody ever fucking taught him how to deal with his emotions.
Well,
so this notion that women have it worse, I call bullshit.
Truth there, but that has nothing to do with. I think that they have it.
I said they both have it bad, but this notion that women have it somehow worse, I'm never going to sign off on.
I call it's bullshit. Not equal whatsoever. There's nothing.
You're right. It's not equal. Who died in all
nothing
wars?
Equal.
We did. Like, who died just so they can have these things? We did. We died on all the wars. Not
I don't
them.
know what that has to do with it.
This notion that they have it better is just, or they have it worse.
What does the dying have to do
bullshit.
with it? We preferred to go fight.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think that they preferred to go fight?
I think there's a lot of people that were drafted that didn't want to be there. Like, that's why they had to draft them.
The draft only recent but there's a lot of fights and wars that have happened without drafts.
And then go before
a lot of fights have happened without drafts.
When they would go into the villages, when they would go to the villages and they would steal the fucking kids to make them go to war. I don't think they wanted to go, and I don't think the parents wanted their kids to go. They're doing it right now in Africa when they go to villages and they snatch out the kids. I'm pretty sure when they're kicking and screaming, they don't want to be there.
You give me a choice
with an AK-47.
You give me a choice if it's my wife or me going, I'm going.
Well, of course, that's our job as protectors.
And yet they're a lot stronger. She's a much stronger person than me.
That's a false equivalency. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like children being taken as boys.
Wait, how do we get to the kidnapping? How did we get the kidnapping?
That's what they do. They don't take the girls. They take the boys.
They take them, they rape them, and use them and spit them out and kill them. What are you talking about? They don't take
and then they take the boys and send them off to die.
Use them. You know?
You're making my point for me is both of them have it hard.
No.
This notion that somehow
if you're just going to stay at both have it hard, if you're just going to stay at both have it hard, yes, that's a true statement. I'm not saying that's not true, point. But women have it much more difficult in this world that we live in. They just do.
How
they get if they're because they're not allowed to give their points the way you're giving your point. They become the Hillary Clintons of the world.
Have you watched fucking TV? Every show has a woman on there giving her points and being upset. Like, what are you talking about? It happens all the time. Every show we go on.
So
has
you've never seen a strong businesswoman have to meet a different set of guidelines in order to be respected compared to a strong man. You've never seen the difference.
No, because I see men who are overbearing and overzealous and get called assholes, get called tycoons, all these other things.
All the time.
Like anytime you're an asshole to the people below you, you get called names. Be it a bitch or an asshole, you both get called names. So this notion that somehow men can be these horrible tyrant and everybody just falls in line and accepts it, I call bullshit. Nobody likes it when you're going to talk down to, man or woman.
No. We're not talking about just the words like asshole. You're talking about those qualities are actually seen as positive qualities in men a lot of times.
But they're not. It's called toxic masculinity.
Nobody talks like that in a boardroom, by the way. Those guys aren't in boardrooms. Not outside of California. Okay. Nobody says the word toxic masculinity in any boardroom outside of California.
Nobody should say it anyway. It's not a real thing. Yeah, it's not a real thing. But that's my point, though. Is the age we're in right now, as men, we're not allowed to be soft, right? Because then we're weak and we're pussies. But we're also not allowed to be too strong because then it was toxic. So we can't do either one. So my point is, we both have it hard.
Nobody's really calling us toxic. I don't see. That's what's bullshit.
I don't know what rock you're living under.
Are some people sitting in California in some crazy land?
We did a whole show on microaggressions like not too long ago.
Yeah, but I'm all over the place. Nobody's going, hey, Louis, you're toxic. Louis, you're toxic. Nobody's calling me toxic. Nobody's acting like I'm toxic.
Okay.
Everything I do is, it's great.
Well, that's very anecdotal of you.
I'm in groups. I have to go with anecdotal because they're always trying to tell me that the whole world's anti-men. They're not anti-men. Women love men. Women love the kind of men that we are. They're not really against us. It's a little group of women that have somehow convinced the whole world that they're like that, but they're not. That's not how women feel. Women still dream of guys that look just like you, Trinity.
Sure.
Women's not. Look, we know that 50 Shades of Grey is not written about some dude, some little dorky guy with his little glasses.
I'd agree with that.
A different kind of beard than yours. That's not the guy that they're dreaming about. That's not the guy that they're wanting to be with. I guarantee you, they're still wanting a guy that looks and sounds a lot like you and I. That's it.
Sure.
That's the bullshit. That's what I call bullshit.
Yeah, I don't.
They want you emotionally available, but they also want you to, be a little, be a guy. They like,
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Whatever.
So
anyway, past
I'm
that.
But Barbie, with the notion that either side has it worse. That's what I'm going to disagree with.
There's never going to be a perfect balance. That's not reality. One is always going to have it a little bit worse. Like in a business, somebody has 51%, somebody has 49%. If you have 50-50, then it doesn't really work. Somebody's got to have that last vote. All right. So, look at that. Nancy says, "I'm always glad I was born a woman." Look at that last comment. I'm always glad.
Yeah.
Not me.
But that's my,
I'm glad you were born a woman too. I mean,
yeah.
So
All right, next one. Migrants.
What are we talking about?
I'm
Migrants.
assuming you're talking about the fact that Arizona got like pennies compared to New York. Is that what we're?
Yeah, man. No, yeah, that's part of it. I think the biggest thing here with the migrants. Look, people, I get that they're everywhere right now. I get that they're coming from every country. This is so much easier for me to talk about now that they're coming from everywhere. They're never Mexican anymore. You notice that they're never Mexican.
They're all like Central American.
Dude, they show all the pictures of all the ones in New York. It's like it ain't none of them Mexican, bro. I'm like, I don't know how they're picking and choosing who's getting on these buses, but they're not Mexican. Anyway, the point
is, the baby just died on one of the buses too, I think.
I don't know. We got to get to the point where we say the right words here, and it's we all want migrants and love migrants. We just don't like the process that's happening. We all know that there's jobs out there that we don't want to do, and we require a new generation of migrant worker to do it wherever they're coming from. There's always a new migrant worker that's done it, right? Historically, that's just the way it's been, right? I know some people want to believe that it's only one culture that was the suffrage class here in the country that did all the work, but that's not true. We had natives that did a lot of work. We had Asians. We brought in Chinese. How many Chinese did we bring in to do work?
Yeah.
How many? Irish people did we bring in? We brought Italians. We brought in Italians to do work.
And of course, black folks.
Right. And then Latinos. Yeah. So we brought in all types of people to do work. Right. That's always been. There's always been that lower class that'll.
But isn't that that's job. The same with every civilization too, right? That's not unique
every civilization.
To
America. It's not unique to America. Everybody needs it. So the point of anyone being anti-immigration, nobody's really anti-immigration. It's just we differ on how to make it happen, how to do it right. You know what I mean? It's got to be done in a way that doesn't throw you upside down. I mean, how can put it this way? How can you look at what's happening in these major cities like New York, California, in LA and Chicago, Miami, Houston, and even think that the number of new migrants they have that they can't handle them. They just can't. These cities can't do it. And I think it's funny how this federal government will give 142 million so far to New York to handle the migrant situation, and then give like 40 million to Arizona or none to Florida. You know what I mean? It's like every state is affected by what's happening right now. Every state. But if you don't like what you're seeing on TV in New York, then whatever these governors did to kind of highlight that, to bust people so that you could see it, it worked. Because everybody needed to see this. Everybody needed to see that this is what I was raised on a border town. I'm from El Paso, Texas. We've always had them. Dude, when I used to drive to school, they used to run across the freeway when I'm driving, and you'd have to be careful in the morning, especially because,
that's why they have that little sign, right? That's why they have that sign of somebody holding the grocery. Yeah.
You just have to watch it because they run across the freeway, man, in the mornings, and it's dangerous. You're almost hitting them. And so when you're raised on a border town, you know how serious this issue is, that it's a daily thing and it's a problem and it needs to be held in check. You need to keep it in check because nobody minds when they're not taking your job, right? So that's why we always do. And that's the problem with immigration. We all do this and we're like, oh yeah, because we like using them, right? We all want cheaper this and cheaper that. None of us want to pay $20 for an orange.
They did that actually in Alabama. I remember. It was I don't know, probably 10 years ago now. I'm guessing. Where in Alabama they actually like outlawed the use of whatever migrant labor, that kind of stuff. And they cracked down on it. And so they all
DeSantis just did it.
Well, no. This was Alabama a few years ago. They all left. It was like a little experiment. So they cracked down. So all the migrants just left. They went to a different place and completely abandoned it. And their economy fell through the bottom of the floor.
You can't do it.
They couldn't do it at all. So they had to like remove their sanctions that they were doing and bring them all back in because nobody was going to pick the fruits and stuff. They were all going out of business. Fruit was like ridiculously expensive. So I agree with you in the sense that
it's because it's the wrong way to do it.
That they would just go away is just that can't happen in our economy.
Because nobody's talking. They're just fighting. Mommy and daddy are fighting. They're not communicating. Look, Crips and Bloods need you to just get together and just understand, look, we all need them. We need them. But it's okay to get them sponsored by a company and put them to work. of a job that you don't want. Nobody minds them doing a job you don't want. Where we get all upset is when they start taking your job. But what I've always said is, kids, and I taught my kids this very early, if someone can come into this country brand new and take your job from you, you messed up. There's something you did wrong in your life that somebody can come in that doesn't even speak the language with zero American education and take your job. That means you really screwed up, because you have every advantage in this country. And the fact that you didn't take advantage of the education, of the opportunities, of all the things in front of you, and you allowed somebody to come in completely disadvantaged and take it from you, that's on you. So I don't feel sorry for anybody that loses their job against somebody like that. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
That's a hard one to argue against. Like, you got a point there. I think that,
I mean, there's families here that have been here for generations and are still just as bad off now as they were 400 years ago. Sure. If your family is still just as bad off now as it was 400 years ago, you got to look at yourself and say, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Right. Because we have new families coming in from Asia every day. There's new Chinese coming in every day. There's new Vietnamese coming in every day. There's new Mexicans coming every day. And one generation later, look, I can walk around and people don't even know I'm Mexican. One generation later,
Yeah.
I'm first generation.
I mean, that's when people start doing the whole victim thing, though. So that's a different discussion for a different day, I think.
But that's my point, is we need to embrace it and put some really rules on it. But we can't just be giving money to the any other city that's not a border town and then ignore border town. It's what the federal government is doing by supporting non-border towns instead of border towns. This is exactly what pissed them off in the first place. They were asking for your help, but once someone comes over the border, it's a federal issue. So you didn't allow them to do what they needed to do to protect their state. You handcuffed them with a federal law. So what they did is took them to you in a different state, right? And now all of a sudden, now federal cares. Now federal wants to give money. Yeah. Why didn't you give the money to Texas in the first place? Why didn't you give the money to them in the first? You didn't. You didn't give the money to Texas, Arizona, or California how you needed to do. And those states suffer in this issue big time. And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I heard as far as like why New York got more, for instance, was because they have some state law where everybody has to have housing or something, so it costs them, exponentially more.
That's their policy problem. That's a policy problem.
I think
change your policy then.
I don't know, man. The migrant thing is it's such a weird behemoth of a problem that it's so hard to have a legitimate opinion on when you're not like directly involved in it, I guess. I'm speaking for myself and just people I know. Like, I don't have any friends or family members that are kind of dealing with that particular thing. I don't know a bunch of people that live in border towns. So I'm so far removed from the actual thing that it's very difficult to conjure up any real like educated opinion on it, because I don't really. It's like out of sight, out of mind thing, like you said, kind of just
Except you're paying for it.
Yeah, but like we're paying for a bunch of stupid stuff, and so it's like to care about that one more. So it's just very difficult. I'm aware of it, but it's such a complicated issue. I really don't know if I've heard anything that I would say, oh, there's your solution right there.
I don't think it's that complicated, to be honest with you. Okay. I don't see what's complicated about differentiating between people seeking asylum and people just wanting to be in a better situation. I think that's pretty cut and dry. I think there are legitimate people that require asylum, and then there's other people that just want a better living, right? I think there's a clear difference between people that come to this country to make a better life for themselves and their families and come to work, right?
Now, let me play devil's advocate here.
Then the ones that they try to highlight to us, one more second, the ones they try to highlight to us, which is like Trump's bad language when he was saying the rapes and the rapists and the criminals. So you can't talk like that. The moment you said that, Donald, is why everybody thought you were a racist, because you can't talk like that. You have to separate the migrants that come to legitimately do the same thing that one of our family members did, and the ones that come for criminal situations. But if Bloods only talk about migrants and always have to bring up fentanyl and always have to bring up drug trafficking, if you only paint migrants as a problem, as a negative, that's why you guys look bad. You got to instead come out and say, listen, we understand we require your labor. We understand you want the same opportunities we had. You want the same thing that our forefathers had. We get that. Okay, let's find a way to do it, but let's do it right. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just I think that just two things that pop into my head, right? And this is just as from a distance, unconnected, relatively, and this topic, uneducated white dude, right? Like, just I'm trying to think right off the top of my head, what are other people like me probably thinking? Two things is, number one, it's frustrating when we see a bunch of money thrown at this particular situation when there's people who are from this country, live in this country, that aren't being taken care of now. I think it's frustrating. It causes resentment and frustration, because it's like, wait a minute, same thing with Ukraine. Like, we're dumping billions of dollars in Ukraine, but we're like, dude, there's people here who have nothing right now. And then the second part is, and this one might be a little bit more of a controversial take for some people, but I think, people are thinking it, so I'm going to say it for them. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree, but I can see the perspective. And that, when it comes to asylum and things of that nature, and that is, why us? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to take them in? And because, like, shouldn't that be their country? Like, shouldn't they fight? Shouldn't they do something to make their country better, to where they don't have to continue to leave it? Like, fight back. That's your area. That's your town. Like, that's your home. Fight for it. Do what you got to do, instead of you coming to us and putting that burden on us. Like, I think a lot of people get frustrated with that concept as well, because, I'm all about helping people and things of that nature. But if like my entire neighborhood all decided to come knocking at my door because they needed some cheese and some bread, I'd be like, yo, dude, like, go to the store. Like, I can't help everybody. And so this notion that somehow we're this beacon on a hill, that, like, we're broken. Like, we can't take everybody. We are not equipped. We're broken anyways. Like, it's causing more problems than I think it's helping at the moment. And once again, I'm not necessarily talking about the people who just want to come here. I'm talking about the ones who are coming over illegally. I'm also talking about ones seeking asylum. This notion of seeking asylum, not like, I get it, but at the same token, and I think Trump even had a policy back in the day where if you pass through all these other countries to get to ours, you should seek asylum in those first. Right. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like, why do we have to be the final stop? Like, it's
his policies were dead on with that. I think where he came short, where he fell short, was, I think, the negotiation that seems to always fall short between the Crips and the Bloods are the Dreamers. All he had to do was give the Dreamers their citizenship. If he would have came out and said, I'll build the wall, you get the Dreamers, make them stay in their country. The people that are already here, let's give them all work visas, but they got to apply within the next 30 days. And we'll give them 6-month work visas or something like that. It's not difficult. It wasn't difficult, because at that point in time, it was just a labor force that was coming in. That's all it really was. Right. It was the same old labor force that's always tried to come here. And I'm not saying there's not other people sprinkled in there, but the majority, when you thought migrants, you thought labor force. Now, I'm not seeing labor force. I'm just seeing anybody that wants to, they had a cousin in New York and they think everybody's a millionaire. Because people think like that in other countries, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when we go over there, I know, because I've done a lot of business in Mexico. When I go, they think we're all rich. They think it just, so they become. And you start sending them money.
Our poor looks a lot different than other places poor too, though.
Correct.
Like, our poor is still pretty well off compared to many other countries' poor.
Yes, but we don't know that. Like you lose sight of that, and you get real comfortable here, and it's hard to go back there. That's why we can't ever go back. That's why those of us that come here, it's like one generation later, you can't return. You get it's like you. There's no way. I mean, that's a big joke, at least in the Mexican thing. Like, there's a lot of songs, a lot of corridos and stuff, a lot of Mexican songs that'll make fun of how the kids don't even want to speak Spanish. Like, no, Dad, I don't even want to go to Mexico, Dad. You know what I mean? It's because once you're here, it's like, I ain't going back over there. The bathrooms are different. The roads are different. Everything's different. I'm good here. You get real accustomed. That's why here, Trinity. The why here is because when people go back home and you see it on TV too, when you see things on TV and you go back home and you hear the stories, you're like, wow. And so we don't get that here. Like, what we get here is Europe is so great, right? It's like, go. I'm always laughing at how so few people actually don't migrate to Europe. Not that they don't. There are some that do. But I that's why I think we should have a trade system. I would say if you have an issue here in this
A
country and you don't
draft.
like it here, well, I think we should be able to trade. I think
Right.
I'll take, I'll give you two of us for one of you. You know what I mean? Or backwards. I'll take two of you
Right.
to give you one of us. Because there's people that are unhappy here. I'm more than willing to allow you to go to whatever country you find to be more pleasing. If you love France, I'm glad you love France. Paris is beautiful, right? Why don't you go to Paris and we'll take a recently immigrated person that's sitting there in France that wants to come here. We'll take that person. That's
Right.
fine. And but by the way, we're not the only one. There's other countries like in France and stuff that get a lot of migrants.
They're all doing well.
They're all over the
different
place.
migrants, right? Yeah, we're getting the Mexicans. They're getting the Middle East.
Not anymore. Now we're getting everything. Yeah, we're getting everything just like they are now. And so but the point is that this issue shouldn't be as difficult as we make it. And I don't like when Crips say that the Bloods are the ones making this a political issue by busing them to different cities. No. Both of you make this a political issue. Both of you politicize us. Both of you use us. Both of you, pawn us around like that. You should have fixed this problem 100 years ago. You knew this problem 100 years ago. This is not a new problem. Stop it. Just stop it. We just need an adult in the room to resolve how we allow new to come in. That's all. And that's from everywhere. That doesn't make you a racist. That doesn't make you a phobic of anything. It just means we need to have rules on how to let the new in. That's all. Because you can't just turn on the spigot full blast. You gotta trickle it in, and you gotta structure. You gotta have the infrastructure to be able to handle it. Clearly, we don't have the infrastructure. No. Like you said, we don't even have the infrastructure for our own homeless people. I mean, the fact that New York has such stupid, crazy rules that they put them in hotels. We don't do that for our own homeless. No. You don't put homeless in 5-star hotels and even 1-star hotels, and you're putting migrants in these places. So we have our own issues, and you're allowing people, and you wonder why people get so frustrated with you.
Yep.
And you wonder why people like what you said. That we're exhausting our money for people that are not even from this country, and it makes us sound bad.
Yeah.
It makes us sound bad, but but do you sound bad when you say your family first? Like if you said, I got to feed my family first. No. Well, that's the same thing. This is your family. This, you got to look at this United States as that's your family first. You got to take care of your family first. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope this issue resolves itself. But I just hate how political it gets. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Next topic.
That to this.
Yeah. Hawaii. I got some interesting questions about that one too, by the way, about Hawaii.
Okay.
Philosophical questions that I heard posed that I wasn't immediately on one side or the other.
Okay.
But for those of you who've been living under a rock and don't know, I don't even remember or know how to pronounce it, but there's a certain city, I guess you want to call it, in Hawaii that recently caught something like that, that caught fire. Nobody knows yet what caused it. I heard wildfire. I also heard one of the power lines came down and caught fire and everything. So
like they all kept falling down.
Yeah. Bottom line is, regardless of the why, like the entire place burnt to the ground. The equivalent of what we had here in Florida with the hurricanes, where like Fort Myers was just gone. Well, there's this whole section there of Hawaii that's gone. When you just look at it, it's just ash left over. I think the death toll last I checked was like 100 or 108, I believe it was. I also, right before we came on air, I saw a headline where I think one of the guys resigned that chose not to sound the alarm or something like that. And from my understanding, is it happened quickly too? Like most of them didn't even know what was going on until it was too late. And with the winds kicking up, it spread very, very quickly.
Up to 80 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, it's just terrible, man. Like, and of course it's being politicized, right? Much like the hurricanes for us, the fires for him is being politicized. And I know, I don't know all the details of it. I just know it's not a good look when you're given when that entire place is just gone and the federal government doesn't say anything for like I don't know how many days it was, and then when they do act, it was basically, here, we'll give you $700. It's not a good look. I'm not saying that I know the right move, but I also don't get paid to know the right move. I just know from the outside looking in, it's just, it's not a good look, man. When they got completely devastated, they're burying their family and they need help. And you're like, hey, here's $700. It's just not a good look, man.
Yeah. I'm very heartbroken for the people of Hawaii.
That's terrible.
I don't care what town it is and I don't care where it would be. any complete city that's ash.
Yeah.
It's
And for the people that passed, dude, what a horrible way to go. That's not the way to go, man.
I'm a history buff. I like history, man, and you have to have a structure for it to have, you know what I mean? Like when all the books and all the people and all the homes and all the buildings and even the trees, they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a different kind of sadness to see.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a lot of spiritual history there too, like with the Polynesian and the Hawaiian, like the oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it right now. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the name of it right now. Not the Polynesians, but you also had like what rock
Samoans?
Yes, the Samoan cultures and stuff. There's a lot of like spiritual like landmarks that are gone that have been around.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of things that aren't replaceable. Like you see the difference between like with the floods, like a lot of times you could take things to higher ground or the water doesn't take over the whole house, right? But with fire is a different kind of animal. Fire destroys everything. It's gone.
Yep.
Like gone. Yep. You know, and when I see what's happening, the what gets me upset with this one is the fact that people take they look at something like this and they go, well, see, this is an example of climate change. Anytime Mother Earth takes issue with us or destroys us, it shouldn't result to climate change, because climate is always changing, by the way. Climate changes. That's what it does. It's called evolution. There's an evolution to climate just like there's an evolution to everything else. There are more of us. There's so many complexities. But you, little ant, aren't doing anything to stop that. I don't care how many ants in my yard think they can all get together and somehow cause a disruption to me, because no matter what, if I want to destroy them, I'm destroying them. I don't care how many of them there are. You know? So we little ants can't change Mother Nature when Mother Nature has a plan. And you're pretending to know the plan, and it's because you have zero belief in anything. You actually believe you can control everything. You think as a man can control everything and you have complete domination over the world. You don't say it. You act like, oh, you got to respect the earth, but then you think you can control it. You can't control this earth. You can't control climate. You can't change what's happened. We've had fires before there were structures. We've had hurricanes before there were structures and people here. We've had all kinds of storms and tornadoes. Mother Nature has always been destructive way before we were even here. We had a whole ice age, and that had nothing to do with climate change. There are events that take place that are just not controlled by man. So you don't need to fight another man to make your point. This is a tragedy. It sucks. We got to band together and help the people that suffer from the tragedy. But don't use this to get on your little high horse and somehow attack another man for the problem. Because that's just bullshit. You know what I mean? That's like when there's a shooting, we're going to attack guns. So we're going to attack another man because of the shooting. Instead of understanding, no, we as humans, we hate each other sometimes. As humans, sometimes we shoot each other. Sometimes we're not so nice to each other. You know what I mean? Don't use words like racism or homophobia or anything like that. No, it's hate. When there's hate amongst men, this happens. When I say men, by the way, I'm not doing gender men. I'm talking about humanity men.
Yeah.
So we hate each other sometimes, and mankind likes to fight. These are not any of those little tiny issues that you want to make it. These are a globally bigger issue of just hatred, of yin and yang. Sometimes we just don't fit, and sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't understand how we're a puzzle piece, but somehow we want to control the other puzzle piece. No, you're the puzzle piece over there. I'm the puzzle piece over here. And together, we're all part of this larger puzzle, which is all fit. We fit perfectly. But you want to create this division and you want to create this fight. Hawaii suffered, and we should all support Hawaii for what it is. This is not a time to make it political. Please help the people of Hawaii. Please love on the people of Hawaii. And it's just a horrible tragedy. And it's sad to see, man. It's just sad to see.
Yeah. So I would say that before I make my point or ask my question that I saw the other day, I do think it's interesting too that I saw. So I don't know about you. I heard hurricane or tropical storm I immediately thought us. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, how far is it? Let me look up the tropics. There was nothing. Well, there's 3 of them for us, but they're like pretty far away that might not amount to anything. But then I saw there's a tropical storm over there going to hit California. Like,
oh, Hillary.
Yeah, like it's funny that Hillary is the name.
That is so hilarious, actually.
It is. But that's crazy.
The name, not the destruction. Yeah. Let me put that out.
I don't personally remember seeing a hurricane coming from the Pacific to hit California. Like, I'm sure it's happened, but it's so rare that I can't think of a single one or remember. I mean, can you? Like,
no, and just so we put this in correct context, it's hitting as a 4 to Mexico. It's hitting Mexico now.
Oh, is it? So it's not hitting California anymore?
Well, California is north of Mexico, so it's got to go all through Mexico.
So it's hitting landfall in Mexico. Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was hitting landfall in California.
So it's destroying Mexico before it hits California, and that's the sad part, because the infrastructure there is very.
Well, Mexico just had one too a couple years ago.
Here. Yeah, it's they don't need the problem.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just I had a philosophical question, or I guess like just something that somebody posted. I think it was Aquaman, to be honest with you. I think it was him. So he's from, he's got a Polynesian background and whatnot. So he's obviously taking this to heart. But he posted something. It was a clip of a woman complaining about some things that, I don't know, man. Like, I think that many people thought the answer was very crystal clear, black or white. I kind of didn't know which side was right, to be honest with you. Basically, she was taking exception to the fact that there were people there, like, still, for lack of a better word, vacationing, right? Like vacationing, weddings, still doing like scuba and snorkeling and just trying to enjoy a vacation. And she took exception to that and wanted basically people to go home or go away.
On a different island, you mean, obviously, or even on the same island, just a different part of the island?
Yes to all the above. And I saw arguments for and against, right? Like I saw some people saying, yeah, it's disrespectful, whatever, let them bury their dead, let them do their thing, whatever. Then I also saw people saying, yeah, but the best way to support them is tourism is a huge component of that place, and those people are going to have to rebuild, and they need things to do, they need life to start to kind of go back to normal, and you need the influx of that money. Like, I don't know, man, I didn't feel like it was a clear-cut thing. So philosophically, it made me go, So
yeah, I mean, on that? I can see why somebody would say, hey, we need to take a pause, but that person is not part of the economy, right? That person's not part of their economy. Their economy is based on tourism and all that stuff. And look, this is not a unique thing in the fact that there's tragedy. Right. That's like saying, when Naples got hit in Florida, nobody should come to Florida during that time period or have a wedding in Florida.
Well, that's what made me think of it, to be honest with you, is I live in Florida, and we've had fucking dozens.
You go to work the next day. You got to go to work the next day. You got to look.
I don't remember I don't remember ever, like, when our neighborhood flooded, I don't remember saying to myself, looking at cars driving by, like, how dare you? Like, it never occurred to me, like, because their enjoyment of their day has no bearing on the water that's in my neighborhood.
Right.
Like, that's here.
Right. Like, you don't put a stop sign on 95 and don't let anybody in Florida after we've had a hurricane. It doesn't work that way. I think that's ridiculous. As a matter of fact, it works the opposite. If people stop going there and stop doing those things, then it would be bankrupt within a very short period of time.
Even more, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I don't. You got to live. Look, life is tragedy, and we have to live past the tragedies, right? We have to keep going through it. Now, would I think it uncool for you to be within all the burning ash and then do like a selfie?
Yeah,
I think
that's
terrible. Stupid. Yeah, I think that person sucks.
I would agree with. I think that's universally frowned upon.
Right. Yes. But that's after that. I think it's everything else is necessary. Whatever dollar you can spend in the state of Hawaii right now, I think is beneficial to Hawaii right now.
Well, that's like,
matter of fact, everybody should start spending money in Hawaii right now.
Yeah, Well, like when Fort Myers got
a really good selfie. Triple R on what is that? Twitch.
Twitch. Random Rick reviews. What if it's really, hey.
Well, then you know what? I would have to.
That's a fight you might want to have.
With a really good sunset,
Yeah,
I don't know,
the flames flickering behind you. It's the lighting here is great.
See, that's the beautiful of mankind, man. We can cry and we can laugh in the same sentence, and that's a beautiful part of humanity, right? Is being able to laugh and cry within the same subject matter.
Yeah, well,
and I think that's necessary.
As somebody who lives in Florida, like when Fort Myers was essentially wiped off the map last year, I wasn't thinking to myself, all the people in Miami, which wasn't hit really at all, should not be there and go home. I mean, still have your wedding, still do whatever it is that you were doing during vacation. I mean, you still earned it, right? Like, when I first heard it, I had a hard time wrapping my head around the idea of saying to a family that saved up all year long and planned this trip for 8 months, and that's like the one trip that they might take to come here, and like, no, you can't do it because this act of Mother Nature happened. Like, I just I get the premise of hey man, like, this is a tragedy. Like, I get it. I'm not deaf to that. But at the same token, I just don't think it's as black or white. So, but anyway.
Yeah, that would be, if people really did, and I'm sure there are people like that change their plans based on things like that, and that's on them. That's fine. Sure. There's still others, but just be mindful that like Puerto Rico lives on tourism, and it's taken. There's a lot of people that still haven't visited Puerto Rico since the infrastructure problem after Maria. And Puerto Rico needs that money, so.
Did you read that one? It said, I lived in Pensacola for a while, which I really liked, but is it true if you live long enough in Florida, you will end up on the people's court at some point? Yeah, maybe.
Well, when Jerry was alive, you end up in Jerry Springer show, actually. That's you're not a true Floridian until you're on Jerry Springer.
It's the heat, man. People get angry at the heat. All right, so next one. Getting into more political stuff now.
This guy, man, this guy's making waves, bro.
Yeah,
he's getting attention.
So he just had a town hall a couple days ago on News Nation, actually, which was interesting. Like, News Nation's really trying to get their comeuppance right now.
Oh, dude, they're becoming a player.
Yeah, they're trying. So full disclosure, I've seen Vivek many times on like Bill Maher, stuff like that. I've seen a lot of his little clips where he's responded to people on different social issues and whatnot. And I really kind of liked a lot of his responses, to be honest with you. Like, I wasn't exactly like, hey, you've got my vote, but I was intrigued enough to continue to listen. And so when I saw the town hall, I was like, hey, all right, what a great time for me to hear more of his stances on things in a larger platform. Right. And I already talked about this. I called you the day of. Well, first of all, did you ever get a chance to finish the rest of it?
No, okay. No, because I didn't record it. I saw. I thought I saw almost all of it, but according to you, I only saw half of it. So
it was like an hour and 20 minutes long, I think. And I gotta say, man, some of the stuff he said, dead on, 100%. I'm all behind it.
Right.
But then some of the other things he said were kind of batshit crazy. And so I like, wow, man. I don't know, man. It worries me that like, ever since Trump got elected, right? Like, when Trump first got elected, when that process was happening, it never occurred to me that he was going to win. I was like, there's no way. I didn't take it seriously. This is ridiculous. It's kind of like when Kanye ran, I was like, this is not going to happen. Even though Kanye got 10,000 people. But anyways, yeah.
They were all in his entourage.
Probably, yeah. He gave them all a couple bucks. But no, so, but then he won. And so I was like, holy shit. Like, so I had to really kind of wrap my head around the fact of like, hey, man, anybody can actually win this thing. It's not really like a foregone conclusion. And so when I hear this guy talking, it kind of worries me sometimes of like, if people aren't really paying attention, if somebody catches fire, but the people aren't really paying attention to a lot of the details, they could actually like win and try to implement some pretty scary stuff. So like the things that he was talking about, right? One of the ones was, he said he wanted to get rid of the FBI, right? And he wanted to get rid of the Board of Education, stuff like that. So get rid of the Board of Education. Hey man, if you got a better mousetrap, as somebody who has kids in school right now, I can tell you firsthand, our public school system is terrible. Like
Whew.
horrible. I can't stand our public school system. So, what is he going to replace it with? I don't know. But then when he said he's doing, he's getting rid of the FBI, like they feel kind of important to me, the FBI. And then when he was asked what he's going to replace some of it with, his answer was basically give everybody a check. And I'm like, that doesn't feel equivalent to me. I don't know, man. Some of the stuff he said just seemed kind of out there. I don't know. The other problem that we're running into at the moment is it's so early that is he just cannon fodder? You know what I mean? Is he really serious here? Or is just basically let's listen to these little ones until the big dogs get into the fight? Like, I don't know. Because I'm under the assumption that the big dogs in this case are for the Democratic side is most likely going to be Biden, I'm assuming. Right. The Kennedy kid, like I agree with you. His voice is, you're not going to get elected.
It's hard.
And then,
hard.
Yeah. And then and of course, Trump and DeSantis, right? Like, I think that's actually still going to be a thing. Right. So, like, is Vivek just, noise, or is he going to actually make something? That's what I'm not sure about.
He's not just noise, and I'll tell you why. Listen, like you said, it's early.
Did you read the text?
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
You can text it in. Yeah, I don't blame you, bro.
Like you said, it's early.
Yeah.
Anybody who gets into the Republican race and doesn't attack Trump, to me, is going for that VP spot. They're going for the VP.
Yeah, he said
spot.
He'd pardon him. That was a big thing. He said he would pardon.
They're going for the VP spot because they know it's open. Because it ain't Pence. Like that,
it's not going to be
the one for sure thing everybody knows is that even if Trump would get elected, it's not Pence. I think Trump would be the only guy that would probably run and say, "Do I actually need a VP? Can I just be Trump and Trump? Can I just be Trump?"
Well, I think legally he has to, right?
No, I know.
I think for the succession he has to.
Right. But I think that when you're not attacking the number one, you think that, all right, so I want that base. If he gets to a point where he can't be a president, I want his base. What do you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Reading something.
Yeah, he said VP is just a spare tire anyway.
It is. It absolutely is.
That's pretty good.
It's absolutely nothing, except for one heartbeat away, which there's always that. Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah. I can't believe Kamala is like one heartbeat away from running everything like that. Oh, how did that happen?
Especially with the heart that's barely beating. That's the scary
exactly.
part. So yeah. So I think that Vivek is a very smart guy.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But to me, you have the Yangs of the world, right? You have the Viveks of the world.
I think Yang was good.
I think all those guys that are very smart that made money in other ways, whether it be the tech industry, and in Vivek's case, it was the pharmaceutical industry.
In a roundabout way.
You have to at least listen to them. You have to at least, respect their game a little bit. I don't think I've ever heard a politician that I liked everything they're saying. I mean, I always tell you the joke about like Hart, right? When Gary Hart was going, that was the only presidential candidate I was ever excited about back when I was a kid. And the only reason is because I was able to ask him a question at the University of Texas, El Paso. And I said, "What do you think about marijuana?" And he told me I would legalize it. And I said, "Oh, I'm voting for that, dude."
But in general, would you even vote? Like the two things, aside from his stances on things, right? Which I think are debatable. But the two things that I find interesting about him that fundamentally, I just don't know how America as a whole would see it is, could you vote for somebody for president that's 38 and a Muslim? The Muslim part doesn't bother me. I can see how many in America might be bothered by that. I don't know where we're at on that as a country.
Who's Muslim?
Vivek.
He's
Hindu. I'm sorry, Hindu.
He's Hindu.
Yeah. Which technically you could argue isn't really a religion, but that's a different argument. Well, because I'm Buddhist and that's not a religion either. But the religious component, as I don't really care about that, and I think that a lot.
Yes, I think we
the
can.
38 part, I think, would be interesting. Could I vote for someone who's 38 years old to run the country? I don't know.
You may not be able to, but then again, remember, it all depends who he's going up against. It depends who he's going up against.
Touche.
No, we look, when we have a two-party system, when we're living in a two-party system where it's either that one or yours. Look, that's how Biden got elected, bro. Biden didn't get elected because we're all like, wow,
No, they
that
didn't
old
vote
white
for him.
dude
They
is the
voted-
guy we want. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
They
Kamala's
voted
who we
against Trump.
want. No, it was like, just anybody but the orange dude. You know what I mean?
Kamala's family doesn't even want Kamala.
So people didn't vote for Biden; they voted against Trump. And in this case, yeah, there'll be a lot of people voting against Biden if he's the one, right?
Probably.
So they're going to vote for whoever it is that's not Biden,
Right.
especially if Trump can't run, right? And Trump's going to take whoever he thinks is going to help him be a little bit more, have some points that have a group that he doesn't have. Vivek is going to have a group of people that he doesn't have. There's a lot of good vice president candidates, I think, in the mix right now, and I think that's what they're all going for. I mean, dude, we got the Latino came into the race now. The mayor of Miami, he's now in. So now we have a Latino, we have a Hindu. Okay. We got who else? We got DeSantis, which I think
for
DeSantis,
the Republican. You mean?
Yeah,
or for the Democrat?
I'm talking about just for the Republican side. So you now have Black, Hindu, Latino on the Republican side. So if Trump is the guy, I'm going to expect he's going to take one of those. Now, I don't think he's going to be dumb enough to do what Biden did, which is says it's going to be a black woman.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be as dumb as Biden is on that. But Biden got away with it, so you never know.
Yeah, the thing with Trump, right? Because I just saw before we showed up today on air. It said something about he had a press conference scheduled to show voter fraud in Georgia or whatever, and then he canceled it. I think his lawyers probably told him to shut up.
He doesn't have proof. Yeah,
and of course not. But in full disclosure for anybody who's new to the channel, like I'm not like a Trump guy, right? Like I do think that he got a unfair shake in a lot of different situations, which caused me to defend.
Agreed.
And I think it's happening right now. Right, like let's go ahead and shift gears here a little bit because I don't think we've talked about it yet. So it hit me the other day, right? Like I didn't really care about the indictments and stuff because I thought it was all bullshit anyways. I didn't see anything that was like, I don't know. I don't think the January 6th was this crazy attack on democracy. Like I just, any more than the Black Lives Matter riots where they destroyed half the country. Like I think they were both crazy.
Or any more that Black Lives Matter was about black people. It wasn't even about black people. It was about those people, that little group of people that spend all the money.
Yeah, but what finally did hit me, like right from an objective perspective, if you kind of just take a step back and look, Trump's been out of office for like 3 years now. Yeah. We've known all along that they're going after him, and they for whatever reason he pissed in their cornflakes, and so they're all mad and angry, and they're going to go get him, which whatever. But you wait and you do it right when elections starting to happen and you bombard them with all these things. Like, that's fucked up, man. Right? Like that feels like Putin killing off one of his rivals, right? Like one party obviously is going after another dude who's running for office against them, an opponent, and you're bombarded with all this legal crap. You're even putting out, we're going to make him do mug shots. It's like, I get it. That's petty. I understand it. But like, dude, you want to talk about attack on democracy? I don't think January 6th was an attack on democracy. I think January 6th was a bunch of idiots who decided to break into the Capitol and look like morons. Whatever. I think trying to get your political opponent either in jail or so bogged down with lawsuits that they can't fight back or actually run against you, that feels like an attack on democracy, man, especially when you've known for 3 years. Like, come on. Like, how are we okay with this collectively is what I want to know. Like, do we really hate Trump that much that we're willing to turn a blind eye for all the things that we accused him of publicly? Attack on democracy. It's happening. Like, all the Hunter stuff aside, right? Like, because that's another, I think, debate that people could get into. But that feels to me more subjective than this. Like, who doesn't know that that's what they're doing? They're trying to make it to where he can't run, right? We're going to bog you down with so many lawsuits and so many, that all your money and all your time is going to go to defending this. Not to mention, we're going to try to tarnish your name more than it already has been, and possibly, get you in jail time, which I don't think is going to happen. So you can't run against this. Like, holy shit! Like, is that not a problem for you?
Well, it's both those things. Yes, they hate him that much, or I'm going to use the word "we" because we're a collective "we" in the
Let's just
United
say, yeah,
States of
we,
America,
the
right?
nation.
Yes, we hate him that much, and we love him that much. The fact that we will not only use all of our resources to attack and imprison him or get him not to be president again, but we also will send all our money to him to help him fight the system and win and campaign at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's how insane this MAGA-phobia is a trip, bro. That's a real phobia.
The Trump derangement syndrome you're talking about?
MAGA-phobia, dude. What's funny is that historically, like in history, when you study how presidents get, if you look at how somebody would study how can I become president of the United States, and you see that Ronald Reagan used the words "Make America Great Again," and he won. Then Clinton used the words "Make America Great Again," and he won. Trump did this Clinton Reagan-esque thing because he didn't.
Well, didn't he like copy Reagan's book like verbatim almost?
But dude, he did both parties. He actually supported both parties. He gave money to Republicans, he gave money to Democrats. He was friends with Republicans, and he gave a lot of money to Clinton. He's not a politician. He goes to wherever he can get what he needs done. He beat both parties, became president, and for some reason, we all got conned into believing this New Yorker is a redneck. I don't know how that happened. So yes, he's going to take advantage of all that stuff, and he's going to get us to pay for it. You know, he said, we're going to build a wall, and we're going to get Mexico to pay for it. No, he's going to get indicted, and he's going to have America pay for the indictment to go after him, and he's going to have America pay to defend him. That is genius. That is genius. If we can't see the genius in this shit,
but why is it okay to do in the first place? That's what I want to know.
This motherfucker is brilliant. This motherfucker is I thought Don King was a good promoter. I really did. Never liked Don King, but damn, Don King put on some shows that I spent money watching. Right?
Yeah.
This is the ultimate big tent Ringling Brothers Don King dude. This is that guy.
But how is it okay? Why is it nobody's like calling it out for
they
what
are?
It is?
Half the country is though, bro.
Yeah,
half the country is.
I guess when I say nobody, I mean
half the country.
I mean the opposite party. When I say nobody, I mean the opposite party. Like
nobody gets that.
I get the Republicans are going to feel like that's an understood. I guess what I'm saying is that the entire Democratic Party is not all like nuts, right? Like there's some reasonable people in the Democrat. How come those reasonable people
they're getting harder to find?
But how come those reasonable people aren't like, hey, this shouldn't be happening? You know what I mean? Like, how many news stories did we see Putin? Like, you know, his opponent fell out of a building mysteriously, and we all were like, no, that's crazy. We're doing kind of the equivalent here. Like, guys, that's not cool. Because my thing is, I couldn't help but to think, you know, what made me think of it was when that lady in Georgia was so smug and so petty about, you know, and he's going to have to turn himself in and take the mugshot. Like, oh my God. It was like a petty ex-girlfriend is what that sounded like. And she's obviously doing it because she's going to campaign. Like, she needs to get elections. So she's running on, I got Trump. Right. So whatever. That's stupid, but fine. I get it.
That she might.
Yeah.
Like, and she might get him.
But let me paint you a scenario here. Anybody who doesn't know anything about Trump, let me tell you that he is petty. He sued Bill Maher because he said his dad was a orangutan. Right?
Yeah, he's petty.
He sued him for like $1 million. But he's so petty and his skin is so thin. If he beats this rap and he actually ends up winning the presidency, do you really think it's a good idea to piss him off like that when you're in public office? Like I can see this. It's like they're going all in, right? Like if they're banking everything on the fact that he's not going to win, because if he does win, you think he's not going to take these names down of all these people who are going after him? Like, okay, that's
it's not even him. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. Yeah. He's got a legion of followers that I'm sure are on it already. That's
he has the power as the commander in chief to do like funding, or he can make your life a living hell.
Listen. Never look. I worked in mental health for a very long time. My first jobs in mental health was on a crisis unit with some very disturbed individuals. You never instigate the mentally disturbed. And that's the way I look at fanatics. Don't ever piss off the fanatics. It's the fanatics that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Not the Donald Trumps of the world. It's the followers, right? It's the fanatics that are so fanatical about him that they're willing to dedicate their 100% of their life to destroy yours if you go after him. They take it personally. And both sides have their fanatics, right?
Of course.
We've seen it. We've seen we saw, dude, they took over a whole town in Portland and just sat there.
Washington,
right? Yeah. No, it was Portland. Wasn't it Portland, Oregon?
I think it was Washington where they took it over.
Okay. All right.
During the riots and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so we've seen fanaticism.
Mm-hmm.
We should never, ever, ever allow any type of fanatic. Everybody should be against fanatics. There should be more news coverage that are anti-fanatic and start separating it. But when you don't do that, when you color everybody the same, and this is why this president that we have now is the most divisive president that we've ever had. Because he lied to us. He told us he was going to unite us. And the whole thing, he's always talking about MAGA. Yeah. That's where you went wrong. You have become the most divisive president because you guys called Trump divisive, but all he kept saying was America, make America great again. So he was trying to unite us all. You just didn't like the way he said it. You are definitely saying all the red is bad.
Yeah.
Hillary did it when she called it all the red deplorables. When she called all the bloods deplorables, they haven't forgotten that. Dude, they still hate Hillary because of that. You didn't learn your lesson, Joe? This is the problem. People don't learn. It's like, I thought history majors like become presidents. No, these people they don't understand history. I thought they were great with history. I thought politicians have no history better than anybody, but apparently they don't because they like to repeat it.
I think they think they're above it.
Yeah, I think they believe they're little chirpers. It's like like famous people. Like once you become
think they
famous,
believe their own hype. Yeah,
you got a bunch of little people around you saying, "Oh, you look great. Do I look good? Yeah. Oh, you look great. You look sexy. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. Oh, they're gonna love you. Oh, that was the funniest. Oh, that joke right there. You're the funniest. You did great." When you got all these little people around you that just agree with everything, you don't get truth, and you get Trump has them and Biden has them, and so that's why both of these guys say some really ridiculous shit, and both of them do some really ridiculous shit because it's not just one, right?
Well, they all do. DeSantis has said some crazy, which is weird because I like DeSantis, but he said some.
But as he started getting rising, but as soon as he hired a staff to go for presidency, he started saying stupid shit because you hired people to chirp in your ear.
Yep.
You hired people to go, and you believe your shit. That's why he fired him, and now he's got a whole new team.
Oh, did he fire him? I didn't even see.
Yeah. He's got a whole new team of people to help him. He's the only way anybody else is going to get the presidential bid on the Republican side is Trump has got to go to jail. And even then,
I don't think it's going to happen.
And
like
even then,
they're going to vote for him anyway.
I still think he might win the presidency.
How gangster would that be, though, to get sent to jail and win the presidential?
Let me tell you something. This guy, a mugshot is the best thing that could ever happen to Donald. The Donald is going to get that mugshot in. He's going to copyright it. He's going to.
Dude, that would be on every shirt in America if he wins.
Yeah. Dude, I'm
not a Trump guy. I'm not a Trump dude. But if he goes to jail with a mugshot and he went, I'm buying that shirt, dude. Like, I'm not even a Trump guy, but I'll buy that shirt because that's.
I would at least have to own it and put it away. How
hilarious would that be?
I'm still looking for a "Make America Great Again" original red hat. I want an original "Make America Great" hat, not to wear it. I want to put it away because what we just saw, you'll never see again. And it wasn't that he was bad. It was you all that hate him are so damn crazy that you made him iconic.
Yeah, it's so weird, man.
You can't tell me that his following made him iconic. His following didn't make him iconic.
No.
You did.
Yeah,
you did. You made Trump famous and you made him great. You made him amazing. The haters made him great.
You know what it reminds me of is Luke. What? Remember Luke back in the day?
Banned in the USA?
Yeah, man.
I got that hat.
Yeah,
I got that hat.
Well, I got the album.
I got the Banned in the USA hat. I will keep those hats.
What I think is funny is like same thing. right? Luke was a little dude in Miami. Most people didn't really hear of. Extremely Dirty. If you guys haven't heard it, great album, actually banned in USA. And it was nothing. Like he was just like kind of a nobody. It was like a local thing. As soon as Martinez and all them started fighting it and burning his CDs out in public, that dude became like Luke. Like I say the word Luke, most people know who it is now because of that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And they kind of did the same thing, right? Trump was kind of a nobody, right? Until they started hating on him. The next thing you know, he just blew up. And it's crazy to me. Like I never watched Apprentice. I was never like a Trump guy. I don't really care about him.
I loved it.
I was never for or against Trump. It was just I knew the name, didn't really care. But I know more about him now because the haters have made him so popular. Like it's crazy. It's like, and they don't get it, right? Like they don't understand his backfires. Oh, the Apprentice.
You got to go back and watch the shows, dude. Rodman on the show was fantastic. Yeah. It was great TV. Johnny Damon was on the show. Daryl Strawberry was on the show, dude. It was a good show. It was a good show.
I'm probably not going to watch it.
It was entertaining. It was
I mean, I don't know. I've heard about it, but I don't know.
And the game is great. We played it with our kids like forever. We have the game. You know,
there was an Apprentice game.
The Apprentice game. It was actually a good game. We played it with our kids growing up.
I can totally see you firing your kids. I can see that.
Okay, I fire a lot of people. I love firing people.
You fire.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a great game, and because you have to learn the difference between charisma, education, street smarts. That's how the game works. You got to utilize these different skill sets to get what you want. You know, it's not just education. It's not just charisma. It's not just street smarts. It's a mixture of everything you are. Dude, the game shows you exactly what it shows you exactly what he did. That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, he is who he is.
Right.
He is who he is. That's it. And the fact that if you think one indictment or 5,000 indictments is going to change anybody's no. All it does is it makes people vote. It's not going to make people not vote. It's going to make them vote. All you're doing is saying, vote for this dude. Make sure he doesn't go to jail because he ain't stupid when he's saying they're getting me because of you. It's like, no, they're not, dude. They're getting you. But okay. they're getting us because of you. No, they don't like you, man. You're like there's something about you they just can't.
I don't get it.
They just can't.
I don't get either side, to be honest with you. I don't get the people who hate him, and I don't get the people that absolutely love him. Like it's a weird dichotomy for me.
And they all loved him back in the day when he was Mr. Hollywood in New York, bro. They all loved him in Atlantic City. They all loved him in New York, even though they hated like the big money people did not like him. But this guy, Hollywood people loved him because he treated them special, man. They go to the boxing matches and all that. I mean, how many boxing matches did I see that it was at Trump Towers? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we all loved him for sports and stuff like that.
Except for the NFL. The NFL didn't like him.
He had a different team in a different football league.
Yeah, he ruined the CFL.
XFL or the CFL.
He ruined the CFL, and then he tried to sue the NFL to get in, and that didn't go well for him. That was the one fight that he definitely lost.
Dude, you got to miss sometimes. In order to, you got to swing big, and you got to be able to miss. You know what I mean? I have issues with lifelong politicians. That's the people that I don't like. The lifelong politicians. I don't mind these Vivek Ramaswamys and these Wangs, the Trumps, the Ross Perot's of the world. You know, they come into this and try to. I remember because I voted for him. I voted for him.
Yeah, he was the one. I think he's still to this day. I think he's the most votes by any other non.
Dude, I thought for sure we were ready for the third party. I thought for sure that he could win. But I like Rand Paul for a lot of things. Not everything that Rand Paul does, but I like him. You know that.
That's who Vivek wants to run the Fed if he wins.
The closer you are to like libertarian, conservative values and some libertarian beliefs, I kind of like the way they kind of sound like that. But again, I always thought I was socially democratic, but then I didn't know that I was going to have to like agree with, there's certain, classes that are more important than you guys forgot us. And I got to admit, I'm biased, dude. The Democratic Party doesn't give a shit about Latinos. Never talks about us, never promotes us. It's always about other kinds of minority classes. But you forgot the number one minority class, and that's why you lost us. And that's why, look, Latinos a lot of times are conservative. Look, we just are. What Latino family doesn't, believe in God, go to church, believe in like our flag, like I got my Mexican flag, I got my Puerto Rican flag, I got my American flag. Patriotism is important to us, right? Like, our national teams, when we watch soccer, dude, that's a big deal for us. Watching our national team play soccer is huge, right? So we're patriots. We're natural patriots in the Latino community. You know what I mean? So when you're able to come somewhere that does finally embrace you, and we make money here, like, how would I not like this American way? Hell yeah. You ever go to Texas and see the Mexicans? They're all wearing cowboy hats sometimes. You look at you got a lot of cowboy Mexicans, bro. Love it. Love Texas. So it's
yeah. I think the political race this year is going to be interesting, to say the least.
It's going to be fun the whole way through, Trinity. We're going to be talking a lot about it because we have no idea what's going to happen with it. It can go in any direction, and at this point, we don't even know who we're going to be. I don't know who's going to be.
I don't think anybody knows yet, because we don't know if Trump is going to be, allowed to run or not. Is DeSantis going to end up rising up anymore? Is there some other unnamed person that's just going to pop on the scene? And then my other thing is just
Biden, bro. That's
the thing. Is there going to be a challenger to Biden? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Is there going to be somebody who seriously challenges Biden? Because I think a lot of people are not happy with Biden. I think universally Kamala is not liked. So I'm curious to see is the Democratic Party going to put up somebody that can challenge Biden legitimately? I know there's a lot of talk about Gavin.
What? I don't think it's for that reason. I don't think it's because that they don't want Biden, that he won't run. I seriously think, remember, we're talking about this. This is 2 years away.
Yeah, he's like 80 years old, isn't he?
I think they're doing themselves a great disservice if they wouldn't. And this is why I think Gavin Newsom is doing what he's doing, because they know, how like when you cast a movie, you have you cast the main actor, but then you have someone here that learns all the role just like he did, just in case something happens to this one, you throw this one in there. Like, you have to have the reserve. You have to have that person that you could throw in there just in case that person doesn't make it to show day, right?
Sure.
So I think Gavin Newsom will be going through all the motions as if anything should happen to Biden, they can put him in. He's already been on the national stage. He's already been talking, the way he's talking. You can just input him. Gavin Newsom will be I think will be the candidate on the blue side. I think he'll be the head crip.
I mean, I can see that,
because I just can't see Biden.
He's extremely polished.
Now. Yeah, dude, the dude sounds like a stud. Like, if you didn't know anything and you just heard him talk, you'd believe him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he sounds like a stud. He looks like a stud. He comes from a pedigree.
Comes off so confident, bro. So, like, cool. He comes off cool, like, you're just.
I actually used to like him before when he was the mayor of San Francisco. Yeah. I didn't like. I liked some of the stuff he said. Right. It's just when he moved up, he just the same thing, man. When they move up, they just turn batshit crazy.
If I didn't have so many friends in LA and know how messed up the city is and how messed up California is, I would believe his stuff. But knowing how messed up California really is, a city that, dude, I used to live in LA. I liked LA for what it was.
Right.
It's not the same LA, bro. I don't know how these people are blind the way they're blind. That's not the same place at all. And remember, I was there before the Rodney King riots. Right. So it was on the come up. It was getting better after the Rodney King thing. It got but now it's just like, it's like,
I don't know, man. Early on in his career, I liked him. I liked a lot of stuff he said, and then he just, like, I don't know, bumped his head and turned stupid. Much like a lot of them, dude. Like, there's so many of them that, like, early on they sound really good, and then they get plugged into the machine and they just start rattling stuff off. It's like, what? You're not talking to me anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We got plenty of time to talk about it. So
it's the Republican side. I have no idea who it's going to be.
I don't think anybody does. I think
it's way up in the air.
Yeah.
It's all based. It'll be Trump unless legally he absolutely cannot do it.
Which I don't think that's possible, because none of them are. I don't know if any of the charges would negate his ability to run. Right? Are any of them to that level? I don't really know.
Trinity. None of it. He will not be convicted of anything before then. So there's no way they're going to convict him before then. Yeah. So
that's why they're just trying to take up his money and his time.
We might actually have a president that gets convicted while he's president.
that ignites that debate of can he pardon himself.
Not in Georgia, he won't be able to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to
Those
be
are
interesting.
state charges. He can't
Yeah.
pardon a state charge, bro. He can only pardon federal charges.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That's why Georgia's the key. That's why they're all happy. That's why everybody's like dancing the jig. That's why you put on CNN, they're happy because like Georgia get him, Georgia get him. I said,
well, isn't the thing in Georgia?
What has Georgia ever been able to do except kick out the Major League Baseball from having their thing and making Coke a popular drink? What else have they done?
Isn't the only thing that Georgia has on him was that he called to do it on the phone and said find 11,000 votes? Isn't that like the only thing they really have on him?
We'll see.
I think in the indictment, if I remember correctly,
show us all the evidence.
That's the smoking gun.
Show us that's a criminal offense. Show us what the criminal, because remember their rules. Every state has their own election rules, and so it's very possible, no matter how minor it is. Remember, that's up to the interpretation of the judge. Did that person violate those rules? And
my prediction is all these indictments are going to fall off except for maybe one, and it'll be a fine. That's my prediction. Like, I don't think anything's going to stick because I haven't heard anything that was like, oh wow, like that's a smoking gun.
Dude, we had the Teflon Don. Now you have Teflon Don.
Yeah,
I mean, the Teflon Don was for John Gotti. This is a real Don, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This is the Teflon Don, for real. Yeah. None of these are going to stick.
I don't think
any of them stick. If any of them stick, it's going to be Georgia. If any of them stick, it's going to be Georgia, and that's because everybody's going to put money in it, and everybody's going to put their resources because they know that's the only one that if he gets busted in Georgia, he can't pardon. Forget all the other charges. He's going to beat every single other one. There's no other way.
We'll see what happens, I guess.
Good luck with it, people. Right. It's entertaining as hell, Trinity. That's all I know.
Yes.
It's entertaining as
great
hell.
Content.
And watching people cry about it just makes it more entertaining.
Yeah. That's why part of me hopes he runs and wins. Part of me hopes he runs and wins just so I can see everybody get upset.
Right.
Just crying in the streets and everything.
Because there's no way you can say that January 6th was an attack on democracy, but you don't think what they're doing right now to Trump is not an attack on democracy, or what they even did last time he was being elected was an attack on democracy. And then the whole time while he was in, he's not my president. That was rigged. Hillary got robbed. What?
Yeah, that was nuts.
There's no attack on democracy, brother. Clearly, our brothers and sisters out there have never seen what a real attack on a political house looks like, where they get in there with their guns and they're sitting at the table, with their guns. These guys are sitting there with no weapon, with their hands.
It's like a crap on one of her desks or something like that. Like,
God, dude, these guys are well armed. If they were trying to take over that house, they would have had their arms with them. They would have had their guns with them.
Yeah.
How many gun charges did they get? How many gun charges?
I don't even know. My favorite, though, is when they said 5 people died, even though like only one of them was a direct result of what was happening. The other ones were like unrelated medical.
Two, the girl and the guy with the hit in the head with the whatever he got hit in the head with.
It's just funny to me. Like, come on, guys.
But that's what I'm saying. If
that's why none of us believe them, though. Right?
Because we know what a storm looks like. If you're going to storm someone, these are militias. First of all, let's not get it twisted. There's some really well-armed militiamen out there that I don't want to mess with, right? We have them right here. Yeah. We have them right here within a miles radius of us, Trinity.
Yep.
You know what I mean? These guys are well-armed. If they wanted to attack anything, you ain't stopping them.
Yeah.
We saw that. That wasn't them. That wasn't them storming that. Or it was some of them, but it was their little peons that are like, go do it.
Yeah,
but it sure wasn't the guys.
The coordinated attack. It was a bunch of.
It was a message. It was a message.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of weird people.
It was not an attack. It was a message.
Yeah,
that was a message. You guys don't fuck with us. It was a message. That's all.
I just keep going back to.
It wasn't to take over the country and to do a coup like Hitler taking over, Germany.
I just keep going back to CNN standing in front of a burning car saying mostly peaceful protest. I'm like, yeah, come on. No, it wasn't. Right. But anyway,
right. A courthouse on fire. That's an attack. Those are attacks. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. All right, brother. Thank you very much for talking with me today. It's happy Friday. Have a great weekend. What are you going to do? Anything planned? Any plans?
I got a honey-do list I got to do, I believe. I got to put something together or something. Yeah.
You let her tell you what to do? What?
We run an equal household here. Remember, I'm a dude, so we have it worse. She beats me when you're not around. She berates me. Like, it's terrible.
Dana.
She's gonna get canceled.
Let's see. Dana.
You're gonna get
Dana.
canceled.
Come here.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna show you how it's done, Trinity.
You're gonna get canceled.
Show you how it's done real quick.
He's at the Dope Doctor.
Do you think you have a honeydew list for me for this weekend?
Yeah, I was just thinking things in my head.
What were you thinking?
Make sure she
I didn't give you permission to think, Dana.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm a funny man, right?
Oh.
What?
The,
What?
little fridge, the little ice maker I bought.
She buys these things and then when I see them, Trinity, she'll be like, "Oh, we had that a long time ago." There was a new rug down there. There's a new rug down there,
bro. My wife would hide stuff in her car and then would bring it in. Oh, I bought this a long time ago.
Dana has that same illness. What? Yeah. What'd you say?
I'm like, no, you didn't.
Store closing. No, yeah, she has an illness. She actually has a new rug down there. She rearranged the whole thing down there.
Dude, with Angel, it's always how much of a deal she got. It's never, hey, we needed this object. It was always, it was like $7. Like,
yeah,
we don't.
That's her. That's her. That's her. All right, Dana. I'll give you a list of items that I would like my wifey do list. I'm gonna put together a wifey do list.
There you go.
All right, you okay with that?
It's time we fight back.
That's right. It's time. Manpower, Dana. Right. Don't forget that. I saw Barbie. Now you got to do this. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday doing a Couch Live edition of We the Middle.
Dope and Dharma.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't even know what to say because she started coming at me. I didn't know she was going to hit me or what. Exactly. But she was just putting my stuff away like she's supposed to. So, so adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. If she makes it for me. Goodbye.